Alright, today I'm reviewing Spencer. The movie's about Princess Diana. During just a few days of her life, it's like Christmas Eve, and she's going to meet with the royal family because it's Christmas. It's pretty clear right away that she doesn't want to be there at all, and like everyone in the royal family kind of treats her like garbage, actually. She's obviously the family scapegoat, except the royal family scapegoat. And while that's going on, she's just finding that out that the prince is cheating on her, and he's just like being really devaluing of her at the same time, even though she's like confronting him with like, "Hey, you're cheating on me," and he's like, "Oh, well, you're actually a piece of shit." It's just like all this backwards thinking you see with people who are high in narcissistic traits, like trying to flip the script so it seems like he's the victim for cheating on her. And ultimately, the whole movie is kind of about how Diana is trying to survive when when she's in this amazingly toxic environment where everyone just seems to be trying to control her life, and everything is like scheduled, and she has to dress a certain way for each and every event, and there's specialized people for like everything, and she has absolutely no control over her life at all. And it's also interesting because this is like a biopic and an historical drama, but like all the shots and the music and the sound and everything makes it feel like it's a psychological thriller the whole time. And there is some psychological stuff. Like she starts seeing the ghost of one of Henry VIII's first wife, who, much like Diana's current situation, Henry VIII started cheating on her, then then accused her of cheating on him, and then beheaded her. That's that other like switching who's victim and who's doing what to whom that narcissists are very well calculating about. And it's just like a very interesting dynamic, like showing the ghost visiting Diana in the present day, and her like making these correlations between her and this ghost. And I think this film demonstrates better than most films about the royal family just how corrupt and awful the royal family actually is. But power corrupts, and entitled assholes shouldn't be in charge of things. I think that's more true than ever. Right now. You see evidence of that all over the place. I mean, Russia just invaded Ukraine for no reason. I think this is only up for Best Actor for Kristen Stewart. Played Princess Diana in this, but this movie is actually really good. I was kind of surprised by that, just in that I feel there's at least one movie a year that's always in the Best Actress category, that's like only in the Best Actress category, that it's usually just a film that chews the scenery and doesn't have a lot to say about anything, but it is like, well, here's this one actress we're showcasing so she can get an Oscar type of thing. Not always, but this one was very good, like surprisingly good. And I found out it was directed by the same guy who did Jackie, and that kind of makes sense because Jackie was another one that was like was only up for a Best Acting Oscar, I think, or Actress, I mean, but was also surprisingly good. Like I said before, like biopics, I wouldn't say biopics are hard to make. It's just so many people make them wrong. But this was surprisingly well made and had like a lot to say, and it just took place over like 2 or 3 days, so it was just about one very specific moment in Princess Diana's life. It wasn't like trying to shove everything into one thing. And I really appreciated the psychological thriller style. That was very different, I think, for most biopics, at least the ones I've seen. I would have appreciated that a little more, actually. Actually, that's like the biggest problem in this movie, I think, is that about half an hour from the end, there's like this tonal shift. It like does this whole movie, like the first hour and a half of the movie, it's like this slow downfall in Princess Diana's sanity. And she seems to be slowly kind of figuring out just how awful everyone around her really is. Or I guess she already knows from the get-go, but it's just like very torturous for her to have to interact with these people in this way. You can tell she doesn't like being royalty at all. But there's this tonal shift in the last half hour where it's suddenly kind of happy-go-lucky. And I like this section, but I don't feel that sudden shift to this kind of more upbeat feel was completely deserved, considering how dark everything was becoming in the rest of the movie. And because of that, the ending's kind of lackluster compared to the rest of it, but I'd still say it's a good part. I was still entertained during that part, and I liked what happened, but it still was somewhat disappointing considering how strong the rest of the movie is in doing that psychological thriller style, almost horror style, actually. So yeah, I would say this is a very strong movie, which is much more than most biopics are, which seem to be just an excuse for some actor to act like someone famous. That's the way I see it most of the time. I mean, there's good ones. I would say 75% of biopics are like that. Just actors chewing scenery for an entire movie. That's what House of Gucci was. But every once in a while you get one like this that just really stands out at how original and unique it is. I'd say this is a really well-made movie all around, and it's kind of surprising it's only up for Best Actress because it was very good. And I think it had a lot to say about today's society, just like most Best Pictures usually are. I mean, this definitely deserved to be on there more than Coda, in my opinion, but it was just like a poorly timed tonal shift, I guess, in the last half hour that really bothered me, and like the rest of it was fine. I think maybe it was just a little clunky when they switched over to that new tone. But outside of that, I would say this movie was really great all around. I'll just take a point off for, or not even a point. Yeah, I won't take off a full point for that, just half a point for being a little clunky, transitioning to the third act. So 9.5 out of 10. It's a really great movie that deserves more nominations than it got. So please like and subscribe, and feel free to suggest anything in the comments if you feel like it. I will literally review anything except porno. And tune in tomorrow for another review, possibly, unless I skip a day again. I keep doing that. I don't know.